online from the Netherlands, so from NPulse, from Serve, and I'm going to tell you something about what we call a society-serving platform strategy. And to start, I think it's important to start with, the digital age, with digital transformation. So education is also in transformation, and technology is, for example, changing jobs in a fast pace, and knowledge becomes quickly outdated. And I think that education needs to become far more adaptive and renew. And that everybody should be a lifelong learner. That's also one of the missions of the program NPulse that you mentioned. And this all changes the perspective of who is the customer. So with student-oriented learning, it's far different than with lifelong learning. You have a different customer for your education then. Needing much more flexibility in organizing education to put the learner, so not the students, but the learner, to put the learner central instead of the organizations itself, like we used to do for a long time already. And on the background, also digital transformation is happening. And this digital transformation is about digitization of our offering, of our channels, but also the underlying processes. So everything is getting more and more and more digital. And technologies like AR, XR, and wallets and credentials, they impact everything that we do. And it goes further every year. But we also see new business concepts made possible by these technologies and by the digital age. Think of concepts like unbundling or platform strategies. And those new technologies, so they are creating new possibilities, but also new questions. And we just already mentioned NPulse as one of the Dutch large national programs for new national digital sector facilities and for digital transformation of the sector. In 2022, the Dutch government decided to invest large in NPulse. And so this national program, it makes digital transformation possible. And NPulse is one of about the 10, it's the largest of one of, about 10 of those national programs that are made possible by the national growth funds. And there is some 560 million euros available to run this digital transformation. And together those programs, they create new national digital sector facilities for the future. And it's really important to have some kind of structure on it, because we are working not with one program, but with many of those national programs, with many parties involved as well. And this changing on multiple levels and initiatives asks for structure. And today I would like to give you the perspective of the architects. So not only IT architecture, but also business architecture, which are quite well related to each other. And then it's important to find new structures to work with all those stakeholders that we are working on, because we are not only working with one involved party, with one organization toward those goals, but we are working with about 15 national sector partners and also 100 institutions involved. So we need strategies and structures to organize that. And I work as a lead enterprise architect at SURF. And SURF is a national organization in the Netherlands that is a not-for-profit organization. We are a corporation, and we are fully owned by the universities and by the universities of applied science and by vocational schools. And we are, together with our members, we are innovating and doing those large national programs, but we also provide basic IT services, etc. And basically, we are part of all those national programs that are running at this moment. And today I would like to start first with how we define some structures by having a national architecture. And then I will go into one of the programs that we face for common time about scaling collaboration, and then about how we use the platform approach, how to deal with this problem. And from there, I will go to a common model that we defined that helps us in creating new structures that we need for the sector, and how we use this model to answer and foresee a lot of strategic questions that then arise, and then the next steps that we are taking at this moment. So let's start with the national architecture for the sector. And maybe different than in other countries, universities in the Netherlands have their own landscape for digital information systems. And those landscapes, they are quite big. And those landscapes are mainly focused at this moment at the traditional students. And they are based on the principle that the students does his study within the walls of the university, and that you are able to organize everything within the walls of your university. But the CIOs of the universities, they recognize that when we have those ambitions of moving to lifelong learning and towards more flexible education because of the transformation of the sector, that we need new national information systems. So there's a shift from doing things locally to doing more together on a national level. But this also creates more dependency for the universities of those national landscape. And therefore, they initiated together a national architecture initiative with those national sector partners who usually builds those national digital sector facilities. And this architecture is a non-technical architecture, but it's more about new business concepts, and it's heavily focused on the future. So where do we want to be with our education 5 until 10, 15 years ahead. So really it's about building new structures for the long term. And for this architecture initiative to have this long-term goals and ambitions to support those towards the future, it was really important to start first with the goals and the ambitions of the sectors. But there is not just one document, one strategic document for the sector. So there are many. Every organization in the sector has its own document with their own strategic ambitions. So what we did first is starting analyzing all those documents and making just one model of this. And we said, okay, is this the model where we have all the ambitions, the things that we want to reach in the end, just in one model. And this was an important start for us. And if you look at it, then you see that it's a lot about collaboration. For example, making education more flexible has to do with doing parts of your study somewhere else, has to do with collaboration with other universities. Same connection to society has to do with collaboration with society. Regional anchoring has to do with collaboration with the region, and also collaboration with companies, international collaboration. So there is a lot of collaboration in our goals and ambitions. And another thing that I would like to take out is that a lot of goals and ambitions are about something that we call public values. So having an independent higher education sector, things like privacy, um, those are things that are really about our public values, the things that we think are important for our education and for our research. Let's see. So one thing then is, if you look at all those, if collaboration is becoming really important, then it's the question, okay, where is this collaboration then? And then you can see, for example, that it's the collaboration between faculties within the university, so that students can do parts of their study at other faculties, some courses, for example. That we see regional collaboration between universities, for example, in the region of Rotterdam, but also collaboration in the region between universities and vocational education. We see more and more collaboration on discipline level, for example, on medicine, but also on national. And basically every university is building their international network for collaboration within Europe, or to start a European university. And then is the question, okay, on which one do we need to focus? But we realize that they don't exclude each other. We should be able to do all this collaboration at the same time. So then the basic question becomes, how can we scale collaboration? And if all those universities have their own information systems, how can the future digital sector facilities of the future foster this collaboration? So if we look at the digital sector facilities on a national level today, then they are not focused on collaboration. They're just focused on basic transaction between, for example, a student and this organization. But they don't create the structure to collaborate on all those levels that I just mentioned. So the main question is how to scale this collaboration. And now it's the time to take the step towards some concept of the digital age, because we think that we should look at the concepts of the future in organizing our ambitions of the future. So this basically means that we need to have a look at the concept of the digital age. And one of these concepts is the multi-sided platform business. And this is not a technology concept. It's more like a business model where you have demanders and suppliers, and both of them are the customers of something that you might call a multi-sided marketplace. And what the platform company does, it connects the suppliers and the customers. And this can both just be the same parties as well. So the same party can be an offering party, but also a customer. And this way we create all kind of new connections. And what we have seen is that those multi-sided platform businesses, that they can become very dominant in a sector. Just to give some examples, think of Uber or an Airbnb, where those companies, they don't own taxis, they don't own bed and breakfasts. But what they do is connecting people in, just finding a ride. So somebody has a car and the other one just wants a ride, and Uber makes the connection between them. The same for an Airbnb. And those companies are able to scale up really quickly. And to what they basically do is having their governance and their quality assurance for a sector. So they invade those sectors and they start to rule those sectors. So if we look at all public values and things that we think are important within our sector, and we think, okay, this is not the best way for us, at least. Well, and another example is, for example, Amazon. And Amazon started as an organization, something as a bookshop and just selling their own books to customers. And then they decided that also other parties were allowed to sell through their platform. And this really changes the way of the kind of processes they need and the business model they have. And then they started selling in other things as well, again changing the business model completely. So the basic pattern that is changing is that you are positioning from just selling something to creating a kind of marketplace where you can sell your own products, but others are allowed to sell them as well. And then the next step that we did in making an architecture is, okay, can we use this business model as well for our own sector in defining those new digital sector facilities for the future? And we said, yes, we think that this is possible. And by setting it up as a cooperative, we might have an alternative for those dominant foreign commercial platforms as well. And that we could keep the governance in their own hand of our own sector, and then giving also commercial partners access to it instead of the other way around. And by this way, then, serving society. So from this way, the platform approach might serve society in a good way of things that we think is important from our public values. So let's give an example of what this might look like. And we can, for example, come up with a lot of use cases for sharing learning material. And if you look at this learning material, then basically what we are doing is organizing a kind of a marketplace. And this can start with a lot of use cases. For example, 3 universities in a region might decide first starting learning material in the context of their collaboration. But also all universities in the country might decide to make all learning material more open. And then you can question, okay, do we need a new technical platform and a new processes for it, or can we use the same platform and processes for it? And the same counts for data science faculties might on a national level make a deal with commercial organizations to start one portal for all available learning material for data science. And again, it's some kind of use case, but it's every time it uses the same concept of the multi-sided marketplace, where you have different suppliers, they are under the platform, and above you have different target groups, different channels, and in the middle, just one platform organizing all the connections. Yeah. But we don't accept just one of these kind of marketplace settings. We expect more of them, and we made value streams for education and research on a sector level to identify those platforms. So where can we find them? What are the hotspots in our sector where those big tech giants might start? And can we start there our own multi-sided marketplace? And so we went from defining education, so where you look at what is the need for knowledge in regions or in sectors, then developing this education, developing learning materials, courses, then making it available, making it bookable, and then conducting this education with the teacher in class, in the classroom. And then we said, okay, what are we doing there? If we are collaborating, then we are sharing things like courses, learning environments, or digital labs, or societal data, or research data, adding up to a lot of those kind of multi-sided marketplaces. And then imagine if we implement all those marketplaces and we have a collaboration between three of those kind of organizations in a region, and they start sharing policy data or learning material or the course booking, etc. Then several platforms of those multi-sided platforms might be in the middle organizing it. But it's a huge risk if we are building all those marketplace settings in a different manner. So we said, okay, we need one common model to organize this so that we don't organize governance or the technical components or quality assurance or the underlying processes in a different way. So let's use just one model where only in the middle the platform specific services are different per marketplace, and the rest can be repeatable over all those kind of marketplace settings. By this way, creating all the structure that the sector needs towards the future to reach our ambitions. So on the other side, you can see that there is one layer to make a connection from where we can manage all the agreements with the different target groups of suppliers. So they can be universities, but also international partners or commercial partners. And from where we can manage quality. On the upper side, you can see the different channels we need for the different ways of collaboration, where everything comes together again, for example, in a regional partnership portal. And then more on the right side, you see all kind of overarching business services, for example, like financial clearance. So if there are costs in exchanging services, for example, if one university uses a lot of learning material from another university, there might be some costs. And the same counts for bookable courses. So if a student books a course at another university, there might be some financial clearance needed. And from using just one process and component for this financial clearance across all those platforms, again, we bring a lot of structure across those platform settings. By this way, organizing and bringing a lot of structure to the sector for the future. And basically, so I already mentioned unbundling in the beginning as one of the concepts. That's basically what we are doing when we are making education more flexible and thinking in courses instead of studies, or exchanging learning material. But basically, this means that the universities are going to service each other from their primary process. So learning material that has been made at one university can be used at another university. The same for one course that has been developed by one university can be given by another university. And this means some kind of unbundling, and has a lot of consequences again for the business model. And then a lot of strategic questions arise. For example, about this business model. Okay, how are we going to finance everything? How are we going to pay each other for services? Does the student get one's budget to study across all those universities? And how do the platforms deal with it then? And how is the platform then funded? Same counts for governance. Okay, who is the owner of those types of platforms, and how do we steer them? How, if we have several organizations developing such a platform, it's never one organization we have seen. Okay, how do we organize a development organization for such a platform? And can we repeat this across those platforms again? And under what circumstances can commercial partners deliver their services across the platforms as well? So this has to do with public-private partnership. How are we going to deal with it? Or the finance, or the quality assurance. How do we manage quality? And who is going to say to to a supplier who doesn't meet those requirements that they can't use the platform anymore? So these are really important questions, strategic questions, where we use again this common model to find answers and to start with policymakers those kind of discussions to make new policies, and in the end maybe even new laws. Well, now we are in the next steps and next phase. So NPulse is one of the large programs that is going to make the first two of those platforms for coming years, and two of them after it for education. So they start with the multi-sided marketplace for learning material, and this one of bookable courses. And the others will go after that. So basically what I hope to show you today is that our sector has a lot of goals and ambitions. So for making education more flexible, lifelong learning, and that these ambitions, that it needs scaling of collaboration, and that we have developed a model for multi-sided platform business that we think is the answer to organize all kind of new structures, and that we already see that those between the lines, all kind of small initiatives where those platform businesses arrives, and that we use a generic model to bring structure and oversight from the architecture perspective, and that this way we keep the governance in our own control of the sector, and that this is really important of being able to serve society from this platform strategy approach. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Menno, for this interesting talk and these exciting insights into the structures and strategies. Yeah, there are some hands clapping. Thanks.